What's up, YouTube? Night Edge here again. Got another pretty cool little review for you today of a pretty cool knife, man. This one was given to me in a giveaway win on EDC with DBD's live, courtesy of him and Chris Juarez with WarRoom EDC. Y'all go check them out. They should be linked right down there below. Go check out their channel. Subscribe to it. They do some pretty cool lives. DBD's live a couple times a week. Juarez is with him once a week. In general, they do some pretty cool stuff and some pretty cool giveaways. Obviously, this one is from that giveaway. That is the Petrified Fish Tena. Never heard of this one, man, before I won it on the giveaway, and actually a little impressed, surprised I didn't hear of it. I mean, it's a pretty solid knife. So you got from the tip of the blade into the handle 8.5 inches. Overall blade length, you're looking at 3 3/4. Sharpen edge length 3 5/8. If you measure laterally, it is kind of a drop point, almost a tanto there. Maybe if you go down to that curve, you got 1 3/8. If you measure the straight, you got 2. I call that 2.5 right there. So maybe a little bit different if you measure it, kind of both edges individually, but with a drop point. No issue in sharpening them. You can sharpen it all in one edge, but with a tanto, you will sharpen both the primary and the secondary edge at different times. So there's a little useless knowledge that you guys probably didn't even want to know going into this, what is bound to be an extraordinary review video. 137 thousandths thickest part of the spine behind the edge. You're looking at... let's see here. 26 thousandths behind the edge. Handle thickness, kind of a thicker handle, 610 thousandths, 611 thousandths. Over half an inch for sure on that handle thickness. Let's get out some size comparisons. Here is a Chris Reeve Knives Umnenzahn. All right, here is your Strider Knives SNG. So you can tell right there it is a pretty long knife. I mean, it's, as far as length goes, it's holding its own against that Umnenzahn, and it's longer than the SNG. All right, put those two up here. Let's see. Let's do a couple more. Got the NAFS Lander 2, which is again smaller, and the Lander 1, which is much smaller in overall length. Couple more. You got the Spyderco Knives Paramilitary 2, and you got the Spyderco Knives Para 3 right there up next to it. So that tells you, that usually does it for me with size comparisons whenever they break out the Paramilitary 2 and Para 3. But just for good measure, and because we're here already anyway, right, that is the Demco Knives 8020S, the USA made one. And that is a Taiwan-made Demco Knives 8020.5. All right, so that'll do it for size comparison, minus your staple on the channel here for size comparisons. That is your DeWalt framing hammer and your 8-inch USA-made crescent wrench. Standard size comparisons, nothing to see here, folks. Absolutely necessary for any good knife review, overview, rambling review, whatever you want to call it. Got the scale out right there, 5.3 ounces, fairly heavy, a little bit over the ounce and inch ratio, especially for G10, but it does have them steel liners on there, and I would be willing to bet there is probably little to no milling on there, but we're about to check that out. I might be wrong. I've been wrong several times before in my life. So yeah, it does have some milling, a little bit, good little bit of milling, not like a crazy amount, but a good amount of milling in there. So man, imagine if they wouldn't have done the milling. It'd be super heavy, right? Over the ounce and inch ratio. Let's get the old faded blue jeans out here. You got the wire pocket clip, which not really an issue to me. Some people hate the wire pocket clip. I've never really had too many issues with it. It works just fine. That screw does stick out just a little bit, so it will Kind of seem to grab the pants a little bit, but not much really, because there's enough room in there. It stays in the pocket good. Doesn't stick out. It's definitely what I would call deep carry. Just a little bit of the butt showing, giggity right there, right? So this thing slides in and out, giggity, pretty good in and out of the pocket. One thing that you got to watch in and out of the pocket while we're on the subject is that front flipper, man. That front flipper, it's a front flipper only. Right, so no other means of deployment. That's kind of a bummer. And when I first opened it up, I was like, oh man, a front flipper only? This thing really impressed me. And it is an awkward, ugly looking front flipper, right? I mean, you've got a hook in there. You got, like, when you put that in your pocket, picture, you know, like my hand be in your pocket, you put that in your pocket. This is going against the back side of your seam of your pants. Now that can tend, if you don't watch what you're doing, or you got some smaller pockets or something like that, that can maybe not tear a hole in them, but it can over time, in and out, it can kind of create possibly a problem there. So that's something to keep in mind. Now for me, I haven't had many issues with it at all. But that being the negative, here's the positive. That front flipping action is awesome, man. Put your index right there. You kind of got two spots where you can go. You can put your index underneath that kind of peak up right there, right? Flip it open like that. Does that really easy. And up top, it does really easily. Just put the tip of your finger almost right there, and it flips open easily. You can sit there and front flip, index this thing all day long. It is very fidgety in that regard. I didn't think a front flipper could be that fidgety, you know. So that's one good thing about it. Another good thing, if you can get past the opening method being front flipper only, the hardware is pretty easy too, right? You got a single-sided captive pivot right there, and whenever you check it on the other side, on the Torx side, you're looking at a T8 Torx bit, which is good enough for me. T8 on that clip, and the body screw T8 right there, right? So very minimal hardware. Does have like that purple little G10 backspacer right there. I think that's gives it kind of a little color pop, you know, kind of neat that they would choose to put that in there. It doesn't really bother me. Maybe it might bother some people that want a super tactical, you know, all blacked out knife or whatever. I don't think it's that big of a deal myself. I really like that kind of EKG sign right there for you know, for the EKG machine whenever they're testing out your heartbeat. That's pretty neat. Definitely has a little bit of personal connotation to me, right? I did have a Widowmaker heart attack a couple of years ago, so that is something that you know, I think that's pretty neat. The blade itself is D2, you know, for the price, for $38, not bad, you know, at all. D2 is not a bad steal at all. It does kind of have a thicker tip towards the end. They do have that swedge down right there. Other than that, full flat grind. Really nice edge, really slicey, and have no issues at all cutting with this thing. I have done not a super large amount of cutting with it, but I have cut rope, I've cut plastic, I've cut boxes, stuff like that, and the edge is done just fine. Could probably use a little strop or something like that, but no issues there. Really nice ergos on this one. That thick handle kind of makes you, you know, gives you like that solid feel of control. Choke back, definitely a full 4-finger grip on it. Choked up, you got that kind of show that a little closer there, kind of like that slanted curve up right there, which is just perfect to put your finger to choke up on. No jimping all the way up the spine or anything. Maybe that would help, but I don't really have any issues at all choked up on this thing. The action, super smooth, man. Really impressively smooth for a $38 knife. Centering seems to be centered up pretty good, I think. Take a look at that centering right there. You see how that spine does get kind of thick towards the end also. Overall, pretty cool knife, I think. Pretty good for $38. Really, again, this one surprised the heck out of me, the way that front flipper is. That really was something that I never really thought I would enjoy a knife that was front flipper only, and this one kind of proved me wrong. So pretty cool whenever that happens. And also, by the way, good access to that lock bar right there. It is kind of inset liner lock going on there, so Pretty cool knife. That is the Petrified Fish Tena. Thanks again to EDC with DVD and WarRoom EDC. Check them out. They'll be linked below. Really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much, viewers, channel members, Patreons. Hit the like button if you like the content. Subscribe if you want more of it. And really appreciate everything, guys. Y'all have a good morning, evening, noon, or night. And remember, whenever you're watching this, y'all stay sharp.